Hi again, everybody. Welcome into Unanchored Boston with Bob Lobel. I am Mike Lynch, and as always, we're brought to you by Cold Springs RV, your destination for all things camping and where? We're in New Hampshire, of course, and by the great George Gray. The big wheel, we call him at George Gray's Lexington Toyota 409 Mass Ave in Lexington. All right, we had a couple of technical difficulties, nothing compared to last night's seventh inning, which is a perfect segue to our guest. And Bob Lobel always does the formal introduction, Dave. So I defer to the age of Bob Lobel, and he steps in to introduce you. Go ahead, Bob.
Thanks, Lynchy. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Lynch. It's such a wonderful introduction. Dave O'Brien, a great OB from, been with the Red Sox since 2007. And of course, born in Quincy, where I'm talking to you right now, and grew up in Marshfield, went to Syracuse, like all great announcers. Sean McDonough, Bob Newmeyer, South Shore guys,
That's right.
and packed it all in. And OB's done it all, including World Cup soccer. I didn't know that, Lynch. Did you know he did World Cup
I
soccer?
did not know that. No.
Not this last iteration, but before that. What was that like, Obi?
It was amazing. And first of all, two of my absolute favorite guys. So what a pleasure to be on with both of you legends. But it was amazing because it was one of those experiences as a kid who grew up in Massachusetts, grew up in New England, and a stick and ball guy, and then to do soccer for the first time, it really taught me that there's a lot more out there sports wise that matters to people. It has nothing to do
For
with
sure.
the stick and ball crowd. So that was great, but it was amazing. I did an open for the very first match in Munich on day one of the '06 World Cup. And I'm standing on this little platform, the size of a small coffee table. To my right is Diego Maradona. He's doing his open back to Argentina. And Franz Beckenbauer, is right next to me on the left side doing his back to the people in Germany. And here's this kid from Quincy in the middle,
Unbelievable.
trying to make sense of it. So that was the moment for me that I realized I'm not at Fenway anymore, you know?
That was pretty
don't,
amazing.
don't
Yeah.
bury the lead, Bob.
Yeah.
No,
Don't bury the lead.
you know
Rule
what?
5.09, Section 4. Get into it.
Yeah.
I think that's really fascinating. I was going to talk a little bit about this World Cup iteration and what he thought about this,
Yeah.
because he
Yeah.
had to have a special appreciation. And we'll get back into why we're here. We'll get back into how it was, what it was like to be a Red Sox announcer during this incredible season, and that's the theme of it. I'm not going to bury the lead. I just want to branch off here and kind of tidy up the World Cup experience for Dave O'Brien and what it must have been like this time around.
This was just as a fan watching it, and one thing that being involved with anything with soccer over the last 10 or 15 years, you get addicted to it. You really do follow, and it gets in your blood. They told me that when I started doing soccer. This will get inside your DNA for the rest of your life, and you'll watch the matches differently. You'll listen differently and see it all differently. But this was an amazing success story for obviously for Boston, for everything that happened in Foxborough, but all over the place, all over America. It was an incredible success. I thought as a nation, we did a staggeringly good job of pulling off this event. I think the rest of the world was a little bit wary because we're not a big soccer nation. But once they saw how we did it, like the size of our stadiums, and how we function with 10, 15, 20,000 people rushing the gates every night, 70,000 people into these stadiums. I think they realized immediately how good we are at this, and that eased everybody's anxiety if they had anyone. And the matches were spectacular, and the USA performed at least initially very, very well. It was a terrible loss, a terrible way to go out in the tournament, but I don't think that lessened how everyone felt about the success story of pulling off a World Cup. So I was really proud as an American sports fan and someone who had participated in a small way in a World Cup previously. I was really proud of what we did.
Davey, I'm not going to bury the lead, Lynchy. Okay, I'm going to get right to it now because
Please.
go back to last Thursday night.
Oh,
Was in the eighth inning of the game against the White Sox. It was that incredible game that went extra, ghost runners all over the place.
Yeah, 13 innings, four and a
Crap,
half hours. Yeah, yeah,
unbelievable. So I'm texting OB in the eighth inning. I don't know why. I just, it was an exciting game.
yeah.
I said Caleb Durbin is absolutely the driving force behind this team. He agreed. But then I said, how about doing a podcast? So having this conversation was stupid me, like I'd never done this before, having a conversation with a guy trying to do a Red Sox game in the most exciting game of the season.
Uh,
He's actually answering me. He says, sure, I'd be happy to come on.
of course, yeah,
I
of
mean,
course. Look,
no, of course, I couldn't believe it. I said, oh, I apologize.
Bob, you call, I answer. Either one of you guys. I don't care what I'm doing in the middle of, but that what a night that was. And we're here in Toronto, and Dan Schulman, a great voice of the Toronto Blue Jays, and I were talking about that game yesterday, last night before the ball game, and he said I was watching it too. He said I watched every second of that game, and he said all night long I knew you guys were going to win. And I'll bet you had the same feeling. I had the same. I did. We all did. They were
Yeah,
chasing all night. Would tie, fall behind, tie, fall behind, five
unbelievable.
times, and five times from the ninth inning. And you're like, oh my God, that's never happened before. But you just felt the Red Sox were they were gonna win because it's that magical thing that's happening. Certainly happened over that run where you just knew they were going to win the damn game, and they did. And these winning streaks, 15-9 so closely together. We've never seen anything like this before.
So now we get to the seventh inning last night, and we're at home and we're trying to. I'm with my son-in-law, and I'm trying to. He's going, no, it's this, and he played baseball at Bowdoin. I played in college, and he goes, no, you have to do this, you have to do that. As the voice and the face of the Boston Red Sox, you must have been going out of your mind because nobody knew what was going on, and I never heard of a fourth out ever
Mm-hmm.
in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Had
Mm-hmm.
you? Now, what was it like in the booth?
Had not. Luckily, Lou Merlone had. Lou had experienced it. I think he said, I don't know if it was on or off the air, but back in college, maybe at PC, he had seen this situation develop. I had never seen it before. It's a timing play and it's an appeal play, and it took forever before anyone explained. The only thing we knew for sure is the Red Sox had forgotten how many outs there were,
Yeah.
and they had run into a double play to end the inning, which was the last thing I said before we went to break. But almost immediately we went to commercial, everybody's off the field. The inning's over. The umpires are getting together and huddling. We're like, wait a minute, what is that about? I mean, what could pot? And so you begin to think, because they had two outs posted on the board, is it possible that the umpires are going to take some responsibility because they didn't have the outs and they were telling guys there was actually two out at the time? That wasn't the case. They had to go back to New York for a rules clarification on it because they weren't certain, the guys on the field. But a couple of them must have known it was a timing play, that run had scored, and you must appeal at third base because he didn't tag up, and that wasn't done before everyone had left the field. So that run is allowed to score. Technically, you'd say, oh, then you need four outs to end the inning. That's why it's called that. We posted the rule eventually. Eventually, we found it. I don't think any other broadcast actually posted the rule up there on press row. We were able to find it and show it to people, and I think at least get to what happened eventually on that play. But it was one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen.
So the
I
fact
have.
is that the Red Sox
Go ahead, Bob.
they didn't know how many outs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there were two outs on the scoreboard. But the scoreboard is for the fans. The scoreboard is only for information for the fans.
That's it. Yeah.
And it's up to the players and the coaches to know how many outs there are. So
Right.
in fact, the Red Sox gained a run, but
Yeah.
gave up a big inning.
Yes. Yeah. I think that's probably what needs to be said, is that had a chance. That inning had a chance to win you the game. And it was they forgot. Not only did the players, but there's a responsibility big on your coaches, your base coaches, to know that. So I think they were. Chad Tracy said after the game he was not aware of what had transpired. Somebody said to me afterwards, no, he ran right out. He didn't. His comments after the game, I think John Schneider, same thing, the manager of the Toronto Blue Jays, was not entirely aware of what happened, but a couple of his players were. Butler came in and he said as soon as he hit the dugout steps, he realized they had screwed up because they didn't appeal the tag up play at third base.
Right.
Right. Right. So what you have to do is the pitcher has to step on the rubber, step off the rubber, throw to third base, and that's the appeal right there, correct?
No, you actually don't even have to do that. You just have
No?
to throw. Yes.
Really? You
Yes.
don't have to step on, you don't have to step
Nope,
on the
nope,
rubber.
don't have to do all of that either. So it's a lot of this was for us was learning as we went in progress. But luckily, because Lou had seen it before, and a couple of people, learned baseball people, former managers even maybe, were weighing in with him and letting him know to some degree what had transpired too, and confirming what he already knew. So it was fascinating. It was way too long. It took forever. You guys know this: 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever on the field is 10 hours for us.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, trying to figure out what's going, because our job is to explain to fans what's happening, and if we're not really 100% sure, that makes it even tougher. But if the umpires don't know, and they were struggling with it even in New York, where you got 7 people with rule books open, and not only the rule book, but the umpire rule book. Umpires have their own circumstantial rule book that they carry with them. And in New York, you had like 3 umpires sitting there trying to figure this out, along with the 4 on the field. It was crazy.
And then you have the fans in Toronto in the stands, which create a whole different dynamic because
Right.
you're on the field of the umpires. You can feel the pressure coming down on you.
Oh, because they're looking at, it was Guccione, who was the crew chief, and he's the guy that has the microphone, and he's got to announce that run counts. And everyone's like, "What? You got to be!" By the way, there was 43,000 people there last night, ready to kill that guy.
Right.
So it was fascinating. It really was.
So after the game, were people, did Guccione come out and do a little press conference, or he
Yes.
talked to a beat
Yep.
reporter?
Yep. You as you guys know this. For folks who aren't aware, there's a what they call a pool reporter who will ask questions of the umpire if he's willing to be available, and he was willing to be available, and he was willing to talk about it.
So let me go back to after Thursday night. I'm going to see the Odyssey, okay, on Friday night, and I can't have my phone on in the movie theater. So the game, I figured, okay, they're playing the Athletics. I can't look at the phone. I have no idea what the Red Sox are doing. I come out of the Odyssey and it's 14-1. I said, okay, here we go. The Athletics are in town. It's 14-1. This is the bounce back after the crazy game on Thursday night. And then hell freezes over. My good friend Bill Chuck, who you might be very familiar with, Bill Chuck,
Sure.
is a totally, absolutely spectacular baseball analyst, says hell froze over on, on, on Saturday. Hell froze over.
Hmm.
And that's exactly what's happened. Hell has frozen over. The
Yeah.
Red Sox actually have lost 3 games in a row.
It's a strange feeling, too, to be honest with you, that the Red Sox have actually dropped 3 games. I thought after the 15-game winning streak, when that came to an end, I thought that's when the Red Sox would hit a little bit of a lull. They didn't. They just kept on winning. Lost a game, kept on winning. So this is unusual, and frankly, the way the Sox have played these last 3, it feels more like they looked in May and the middle of June, the way they're
Yeah.
swinging the bat, frankly, not swinging the bat. So, and tonight they're going to face Dylan Cease, who is just nasty and threw a one-hitter against the Red Sox the last time he faced them. So, I mean, we've had our problems with Toronto. We're 3-7 against the Blue Jays. We're not seeing the right team at this particular time when we've hit a little bit of an offensive lull. They've been flat these last few games, no question. Finally got an extra base hit last night. Spent a couple of games, so that's as hot as they were. And as incredible as they were, it's like for a few days we're looking at a different ball club,
Well,
So this part's weird.
What happened on the play where Siegler got sort of screened by Valenzuela coming into second base? I think the ball actually ricocheted off Valenzuela's helmet and went by him, but then
Yep.
the umpire awarded him second base or something. What was that ruling?
Yeah, he awarded him second base on interference, and forgetting about the ball struck his head. That Siegler had interfered on the play at second base on a pathway to the bag. So that was the ruling there.
Oh, okay. Right. There were a lot of things. The Springer, gets up right away, and they put the ears on. Um, but there were a lot of different rule interpretations last night. The home plate umpire Ramos, I think it was. He was a busy guy last night.
Yeah. There were actually a lot of challenges too on
Challenge.
strike calls.
Yeah,
That happened ad nauseum last night. In a 2-1 game, it's amazing how many things can happen that are kind of unique. And there was certainly one major one last night.
I was actually watching rewatching Channel 5 late news. They
Oh my God, we have to go there.
No. I think it doesn't. The point is not that it's Channel 5, but they had an intern who was an umpire, and
Hmm.
he had come from a game, and he still had his umpiring hat on. Probably was a Babe Ruth game or Legion game or something, but he stood there in front of the camera and recited Rule 5.09, Section 4. He knew exactly what the rule was. And while everyone was losing their head in the newsroom and in broadcast booths and watching games,
Hmm.
here's some 20-year-old kid who's a college student who knows the rules. That was pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Thank God. Thank God we should have had him upstairs with us, when we were going to the commercial break. But things happen. It's probably a couple times a year you'll find something like that. Maybe not quite as dramatic as that, but a play happens where you've really got to dig deep in the rule book. And you think maybe you've heard about it or you've seen it happen 20 years ago, but you need to see it in writing to clarify it. So it's good to have somebody like that around. I think the guys down on the field were lost about how they were supposed to interpret what happened, and their
Yeah,
professional umpires have been doing it for 30 years.
yeah.
Okay, Lynch, let's not bury the lead here. Let's not bury the lead here, okay?
Baseball's version of the tuck rule.
Yes, yes,
Baseball's version
yep,
of the tuck rule.
that's what
Well,
it
that was a
was.
good. Okay, that was a good one. But let's not bury the lead because Adley Rushman's coming back tonight.
Right.
Mm. Yeah,
That's kind
Very
of the lead. He's talked about Dylan Cease, but
yeah.
okay, Toronto's throwing their best guy, but this is going to be an exciting moment for Red Sox Nation.
It is. It is. I mean, he's a stud. I was talking to on trade day a couple of the guys who cover the Orioles, and they said this for Oriole fans losing him was like getting punched in the stomach.
I heard that. I heard you say that, right?
That's what and I said, was it really that's the way? And they were like, what this kid meant when he was drafted, he was a 1-1 overall #1 pick. They looked at him as the savior to take them out of the darkness of all those losing seasons. Like he was going to be the linchpin on this. It's exactly what happened. They became a good baseball team largely because they were able to build around that important position, and he was such a good draft choice and a guy that he's by the way, big, strong kid. We watched him in batting practice yesterday, launching shots left-handed, which I know has been one of the concerns about him that at Fenway, because it's 380 out there, if he hits lefty, he's not going to be able to hit. I don't think that's going to be a problem. I really don't. Not that he's
Well, a couple guys like Williams and Yastrzemski didn't have too much trouble at Fenway Park.
Yeah, and he's a switch hitter, so he's more in line with Veritek, I think, what Jason used to do, which is 20 to 25 home runs, but can do damage on both sides of the plate. But it's what he does behind home plate that is going to be so much fun, I think, for people to watch. He is an elite catcher. He's among the best at throwing up base stealers. He's a great framer and blocker. Not the easiest thing in the world to drop into the middle of a season with a very varied pitching staff like this and take command. But I think he's going to be able to pull it off. He spent a lot of time with Gray and with Chapman and everybody else here the last few days. So I think he's dying to get going because there probably would have been a much longer rehab stint. but he was just at least 4 or 5 more games perhaps. But he's just dying to get in and be part of this thing. And I think it's because of what he saw around Fenway Park this last week when he's
Of
been in a
course.
Sox uniform. He's just he can't believe what's going on here.
Who
Dave,
can?
what is this most like this season? You lived through the Impossible Dream summer of '67. You lived through Morgan Magic. Um, which is it closer to? What's going on with this team?
Probably 67, probably the impossible dream, to be honest with you, Lynchy, because, Morgan Magic wasn't as long as this, we don't know where this is going to end yet, but just the series of ridiculous wins, I think, particularly over the 15 gamer and then again the 9 gamer, I think that's more comparable to me to Yaz in 67. Now, he was a one-man band on that team. This is a bunch of guys, some of whom nobody ever heard of before opening day. So, the fabric of it is different, but I think it feels the same in so many ways to a lot of us, doesn't it? I mean, I'd love to hear both of your perspectives on that, but this came out of nowhere, absolute nowhere, from where the club was on the 25th of June, which was the worst team in the American League. We were thinking 96, 97 losses. That's what the kind of pace they were on. To, within a few days, it's the best team in the American League, and for a long stretch, the best team in baseball.
Well, this
Um,
is why we go back to Dave Caleb Durbin. You say it came out from nowhere, but he really, in my mind, has been the heart and soul and the driving force behind. He's been the engine behind this
yeah,
team.
I agree. I agree with that, Bob. I think that he was getting buried at
Very,
Fenway. Absolutely buried, and he was not even hitting his weight, and he always played great defense, but it wasn't the case where with the bat he was living up to the trade. When that happened in Colorado, when his finger went one way, it wasn't supposed to go, and he just simply popped it back in, and he was back in the lineup the next day and hit a home run off Schlittler, hit a bomb at Fenway, and the Red Sox would sweep. I thought that was the turning point of the whole thing, and he's the poster child, the way he's played since then, the poster child for the success of this team.
hard to disagree with that. I'll
Yeah.
tell you what, it just his defense is like a vacuum cleaner. It's impeccable.
Yeah, I think he'll win a Gold Glove. I think he'll win one. I think the two guys in the outfield, certainly Sadon and Willier, will win Gold Gloves, and Contreras is going to be in the conversation too. To me, that was always underplayed, that they played really good defense. Now the
Right.
pitching, everyone say, yeah, they can pitch, so they're going to have a chance, and they did. April, May, and June, it was still one of the better pitching staffs in baseball. But nobody talked much about the defense, which has to go hand in hand with that when you have a good staff like that. So you had, two of the 3 pillars of baseball where they were actually way above average. And that's what gave you, I guess, some hope that they could be a better team, but nothing like what happened. Nothing like what happened. What happened is why we love sports. It's why all 3 of us got into it. It's what we used to read about in the sporting news when we were kids and Sports Illustrated. These amazing things that happen in far off places like, Anaheim or Cleveland, and the fact that they pulled this off and completely turned the season around as fast as any team, faster than any team has ever done in the history of baseball, and that we had a front row seat for it, has really been remarkable.
When they swept the Dodgers, that was really, I mean, I know the Dodgers were down and, they have a whole different approach to regular season games, but
Mm.
still going into LA and sweeping them,
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
really was an exclamation point on.
Well, as well as they were playing, you just didn't. Did you really believe they were going to go into LA and sweep them? I mean, that's the best team in baseball. They were bearing down on 70 wins.
Clearly.
I penciled in the lineup one night, and it was Otani, Freeman, and Betts. Those 3 guys are going to Cooperstown. The Red Sox didn't have anybody in the lineup you could say that about. Many, many years we have, but not in that series. And you're facing Yamamoto on a Saturday night, and he's arguably the best pitcher in the National League. You figure you're probably going to win one of those games. The Red Sox went in and ran them off their feet for 3 days, and every one of those Dodgers, Freddie Freeman was talking about it, Doc Roberts was talking about it. We're looking at the Red Sox like the way they play the game, the way this group is playing the game, they're big time trouble for anybody. And what they meant was come October, not just right now.
Yeah. You know, I keep thinking of the movie Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid when they're being chased, and they don't know who's chasing them. And Redford goes, "Who are those guys?
Who are those guys? Yeah.
Who are those guys?"
Right.
And so, if you want, that's a perfect fit for this team because I'm sure that some of these other, and scouting reports are sitting around the clubhouse going, "Who the hell is this guy? I've never heard of this guy before."
Don't you feel like too that there's something about this group that it's not a star-laden lineup. That now people have kind of taken to it. Like Durbin's a great example. He's 5'6.5" or whatever. He reminds you a little of Pedroia, with the way he plays, but he's got such an upbeat attitude. He never gets down. There's a lot of guys. Siegler playing with great energy, and Abreu hits a bomb to win a game, and he's out flexing and shouting. There's a great likability about them that was not there before.
Right.
And I know winning has everything to do with it, but I think people have gotten into some of the personalities of these guys. Like Wilson Contreras is an easy guy if he's not on your team to dislike, you know.
Yeah.
But if he's on your team and playing the way he does, which is usually just absolute passion and as hard nosed as it gets, I think that's appealed to Red Sox fans too, and there's become a likability about them that's been fun to see.
Yeah.
I think, okay, here's an analogy you may or may not agree, but it's kind of like Argentina versus Spain. Argentina's doing everything they can to get the penalty kicks to win the game. It's their only chance they had was to get the penalty kicks. The Red Sox, they're trying to get the penalty kicks. They're trying to get to a place where their pitching is going to put them over the edge and have a shot to win.
Yeah,
That,
yeah.
that to me is like, and it's a stupid analogy, but it seems so clear to me.
Yeah, it's fair, and it's because you're looking at a lineup of guys, a bunch of whom were utility guys or at Worcester 5 minutes ago,
Yeah.
and that's the team you're going to war with. But there's a lot of good baseball player in that lineup. You look at a guy like Andrew Monasterio. Granted, he's been hot as a firecracker with the bat. Made a few errors in Sacramento, but he's also made some tremendous plays at shortstop. Now, he's not supposed to be your everyday guy, but he's getting it done for you right now. Siegler, another guy who was as hot as could be for a while, cooled off. Now he's getting hot again. He's not been a regular. He's a former number one pick from years ago who a lot of people gave up on. So, I think that's fair. How the Red Sox are trying to win is get 4 runs. Give the starter goes 6 great innings, and then the back end of that bullpen locks it up, and you win the game 4-2. And they won a lot of games just like that during that run where they went, 32-5.
Roman Anthony came back today. Where would you play him?
I'd put him in left field. I would put him in left field and go that way the rest of the season. And I think he's starting to get closer than people think. To return. He's hitting against the machine. Pretty soon it'll be the Trax machine. Pretty soon you're going to see him on a rehab assignment. I think the kid's gotten a bit of a bad rap, Bob, because there's this sort of mentality among some that he's doesn't care as much and he cares more about other things. I know for a fact that isn't true. I think he's working his tail off. If he didn't and I wasn't hearing these things, I wouldn't say anything, probably. I'd tell you guys something behind the scenes. But I think he's gotten a bad rap, and he's going to be very eager to show people that he is the guy we saw in the World Baseball Classic. He is the guy we saw late last season before he got hurt. But, the injury stuff has has affected him, I think, very deeply. But I don't think it's fair to just lump him in with, maybe Marcelo Meyer, who had a lot of injury problems and needed a change of scenery. I don't think that's the case with this kid.
What about
Karen Duran?
how is Duran going to handle this if this happens?
Good question, Mike.
Well, I think, probably he's going to wind up playing more than people think. He can play center field. He can play right field. You can move him around. He got the only extra base hit for the Red Sox last night. He's actually been swinging the bat, was until the last couple of days pretty well for a short period of time. I think the difference is Roman Anthony is the face of your franchise. He's going to be your star of the future. The Red Sox still very much believe that. He's also a guy who will lead off for you. He can fill that role. That's been a revolving door for the Red Sox, even through winning 15 and 9 in a row. The Red Sox had a lot of different leadoff guys. He's going to fill that role. He's still got that great eye, great command of the strike zone, and he can hit you a 3-run homer. So he does some things that I know defensively you're going to be giving away something because he's not the defender that Duran is. But I don't think there's any question that assuming he's 100% or close to it, when he returns, he's going to play left field.
But Duran's such an emotional guy. He wears his emotions on his sleeve. We saw it out in Sacramento when he thought that a run should have scored, which the run never would have scored. It would have been out by 10 feet. Is he going to? Will this be disruptive at all to this club?
I don't think so, because Jaron was the first guy who said at the trade deadline he thought he was going to be released. That was his comment. He thought he was going to be traded or released. So I think there's actually a lot of gratitude that the Red Sox stuck with him. And this is the way that Chad Tracy is a guy we haven't talked about yet, but
We haven't.
this is the way he plays. He's going to go with the hot hand. So I would say this, the one caveat is when Roman returns, if Duran is on a heater, if he's got a 9 or 10 game hitting streak, he's going to stay in left field. He's going to continue to play every day. But I think organizationally, they've got so much committed to Roman. And I think they like the idea of how hungry he's going to be when he returns. I think Jaron will accept the role that's coming. He's hitting about 200. He said himself he's had a horrible year. I thought he had a really good May, by the way. He had 9 home runs in the month of May, but that was a shorter period of time. So I'm excited about seeing Roman back. The things I've heard about how hard he is working down in Florida, showing up early in the morning, rehabbing. He's dying to get back. When I started hearing these things from guys who were rehabbing with him, that's when I was like, yeah, he's gotten a bad rap to this point.
I need to do a Cold Springs commercial, Mike. Is that okay right now?
It's very good, Bob. And I like the way you tossed in a little World Cup there yourself afterwards. It just showed your versatility, Bob.
Thank you, Mike. Thanks, very appreciate that a lot. Coming from
no
a
problem.
Channel 5 guy that uses an intern to explain the rules to your regular people. It's all right. I get it. Any port in a storm is what I've heard.
Right.
Okay, campers, buying an RV can feel overwhelming. You can feel pressure. You can feel fees. You can feel pushy salespeople all over the place. But at Cold Springs RV in Ware, New Hampshire, it's
Where's that?
totally different. Ware, New Hampshire.
Okay, got it.
It's west of Goffstown and St. Anselm's College and north of Tingsboro, where I have a couple of friends, Jackie and Donald, live. It's an easy place to find. No pressure, no gimmicks. These people are campers themselves. They know exactly what you're looking for. They have open campers there. You just go, you see, you participate. They'll show you how the showers work. They'll show you how the bathrooms work. They'll show you how to fix the bathrooms if you need to fix the bathrooms on the run. No pun intended. So the point is at Cold Springs RV, these people are campers themselves, and they grew up in the camping business so they can give you honest answers and real help in finding the right fit for your next RV. Cold Springs RV in Ware, New Hampshire.
Where?
Where? I told you where it was. Learn more at coldspringsrv.com. Thank you very much, Mike.
Beautiful.
Okay, so Dave, here we go. You know the drill. They're building a Lobel Lynchy cruiser for us. It's going to outdo the Madden cruiser.
Yeah.
Since we don't pay our guests, when it's finally built, we're going to let you have use of it for 7 days.
Really?
Yeah, you can drive from the East Coast to the West Coast. We'll fly you back. The only thing is you have to pick somebody to ride shotgun with you. And this person has to be a baseball broadcaster
Ah,
from the past to the present,
yeah.
alive, deceased. We have
Wow.
this amazing gift. We can bring anybody you want back to life.
Oh,
So who wants to ride shotgun with Dave O'Brien across country?
well, I don't know if he'd want to run shotgun with me, but I would demand that he ride shotgun with Dave O'Brien, and that is the legendary Vin Scully.
I knew that. I was going to say Mel Allen, Harry Carey, or Vince Scully.
Got to be Vin Scully. A lot of people don't realize we throw around this term breaking ball all the time. All three of us have done it for years. He invented that phrase. Vin Scully was the first guy to invent the phrase breaking ball to describe
Really?
curve,
Really?
slide, or whatever. Yeah, because he was like, well, sometimes you can't tell from that far away in the broadcast booth, but it's certainly so just stuff like that. But one of the great gentlemen I've ever met in or out of sports. He obviously 60 years doing the Dodgers is just stupid, but how someone that famous and that accomplished could be such a nice person. He'd walk into my booth at the start of a series and go, "Hello, Davey, how are you? Oh, your team's playing awfully well. Tell me about the left-hander now. I believe he's from Canton, Ohio, isn't he? Family of 9. He's number 4."
That's
And
really
like
good.
he had all the stuff, and he'd
That's
be like,
really good, Dave. That's really good.
but you'd sit there and go, Vin Scully is in my booth asking me about our lefty. So I could easily handle a cross country in the company of the great Vin
That's
Scully
so
and love
good.
every second of it.
And
Yeah.
his first game was a BU football game, I believe.
Yeah. He did it on the top of Fenway
Ooh,
Park on the
yeah.
roof. Yeah, it's a great story there.
Hey, come here, guys, come here. All right, look who popped in. These two of your big fans here. I don't know if
Oh, what a
that's
good looking crew here.
Thomas and Colin. And what are you getting your shirt, Colin? Show me what you got. Turn around.
What's it
Roman
say?
Anthony on his shirt. These guys watch you every single night. You want to say hi to Dave? Hey,
Hi
you
guys.
every
How
single
are
night.
you? Good to see you. Are you guys allowed to stay up late and watch the Red Sox, or
Yeah,
do you
well,
have to
they
go to bed?
say, how like this? How like does your let mom let you stay up? Eight,
Hey,
You get to
okay.
watch an hour.
That's pretty good. That's really good. I love to hear the sound of that. That's how I fell in love with the Red Sox too. So
And
yeah.
Thomas has a Sedan Raphael shirt, number 3,
Oh
and
yeah.
Colin wears number 19, Roman Anthony. We're waiting for him to come back, right? Right, boys? All right.
Colin Anthony.
Yeah, Colin Anthony.
Ah, I love it.
All right,
Well,
guys. We'll see
they're
you later. Thank
adorable.
you.
They are absolutely adorable, Lynchy. Yeah.
So
So I
what
don't know
Thomas?
about. I mean, I'm sure both of you guys. Having grandkids has absolutely changed my life. It's amazing we have 2 granddaughters, 10 months and 6 months right now. I can't believe how it's changed our lives. We are just we're on cloud 9 every day.
Oh yeah.
It's
And
great.
when I told him yesterday that we're gonna have Dave O'Brien on, he goes, "The Red Sox, Dave O'Brien? Are you kidding me? You're gonna have Dave O'Brien on?" I said, your grandfather and his Bob Lobel were just on a magazine cover this week, but no, we're really
Right.
gonna have Dave O'Brien on, so he
Yeah.
can hear less about Lobel and Lynch.
Oh, isn't that
Let him
funny?
know
Well,
the guy he sees at the beginning of every
yeah,
Red Sox game,
yeah.
that Grampy's actually going to be talking to him. So
Yeah, yeah. Grampy's done some things. Yeah. Yeah. They're adorable.
So
Love
where
it.
are you? Where are we right now with this club? I mean, I fear these 3-game
Mm.
losing streaks could morph into 5 or 6.
Because you're a typical Red Sox fan. That's exactly what you are.
I
No,
know.
this is exactly what you are. You lose 3 after the greatest run in the history of the franchise. How many franchise records have they broken? I mean, record after series after series, records, franchise records, and they lose 3 in a row, and the fucking world's coming to an end.
It's the truth. It's the truth. It's amazing. And I started laughing when Lynchy started saying, "Well, where are we now? It's a 3 in a row." So and it could be 4 because you're facing a really tough pitcher tonight. The good news is for me is the Red Sox put themselves in a great wild card position. Going into last night, they were 5.5 clear of the last wild card spot. It's really 6.5 when you technically when you look at it. So they're going to make the playoffs. I think that with Adley being added now, Isaiah Falefa coming back, Roman Anthony is going to play for the Red Sox, be it the end of August or September, Labor Day, whatever. He's going to be in that lineup. The Red Sox are going to get even better than they have been. I thought, as I said, the lull would happen a little bit earlier. I'm a little surprised that they put together yet another winning streak where magical things were happening. I think they're going to be a better club here in the next few days, starting tonight. This is very exciting to have Adley Rutschman ready to go and to catch most days for the Red Sox. You've got an all-star 28-year-old in the prime of his career. I think this is sort of the next phase for me. It's going to be the Rutschman phase for the rest of this
Good, I like
season.
it. Yeah.
Good.
It's Argentina trying to get the penalty kicks. I'm telling you.
I like that.
There we go.
I do like that.
No. Here's the book. Red Sox, Dick Flavin's, the great Dick Flavin. It's verses and curses.
Yeah.
It's all about being a Red Sox fan. Take you back to the good old days when they would lose.
Yeah. And it's, when there's no place better on earth when the Sox are rolling. And what's happened at Fenway during this, the tarps off and everything else, and waving the shirts, but the electricity back, the passion returning. But it was like a thunderclap. It took me a little while to get used to it. Like all of a sudden, we're back to Manny and David and Pedro in the ballpark, and I'm like, now we've had some great seasons since then. I'm not saying we haven't, but this has been a euphoria, I guess. In those seasons when we had, Pedro and Schilling and David and Manny and everybody else, we knew we were going to be a great baseball team. Whether we won the World Series or not is a different story. But then you win four and you kind of get used to it. This is different because people are in love with the team again. They're in love with coming to Fenway. What I said after the 15-game winning streak ended was, thanks to these guys, we got our summer back.
Yeah.
And that means so much to us. The Red Sox are so ingrained in the fabric of our summer. And now we've got a team to root for. Not only a fascinating team. How are they doing this? And the act of trying to explain it is up to guys like us three.
You haven't been able to. Actually, you have not been able to explain it, and you've been pretty open about that.
Yeah. And in such a fun way, in such a gratifying way. You're like, just watch and wonder. And the one thing I hope we've been able to do on Nesson and on the broadcast is bring that home, that sense of, oh my God, I mean, who saw this coming? And again, it's not only why we love sports, it's why we love the Red Sox. So.
When every new series starts, you have a new team, but you also have a new wave of media members. So I can only imagine how many people have come up to you when they haven't seen you in a month or two, but we're in the middle of an 8-game, 12-game, 13-game win streak. The questions they have for you, like, what is going on with these guys? Are you getting it from everybody?
Everybody, from every angle, and doing talk shows all over the country and interviews all over the country, and hoping that we had the answer. And part of it, I think, is they've been watching, they have been following, and keeping track of the Red Sox. But oftentimes, it's hard to get inside why that occurred, and I think that's the part of it that's been so much fun. Is I can give them the reasons that I think it's occurred. I'm like, well, the kid at third base, he's a game changer. Ziegler gets hit at home plate. Anthony gets crushed. He winds up coming back the very next day, even though he probably should have had a concussion. Contreras fouls a ball off his foot. He gets nailed on the head. He still comes back. And I think the grittiness is the biggest thing that we've tried to impart to people. It's a very gritty group of guys. That might not be the sexiest thing. It might not be the easiest way to explain a team, but the personality there, and a lot of it, I think, should be attributed to the manager lets them play that way.
Yeah.
Like the Red Sox had 13 sacrifice bunts in a month.
Love it.
When was the last time a Red Sox team ever did that?
Correct.
And that's because Chad, and a lot of those are not signals from the dugout. They're not called plays. He's allowing them to use their baseball acumen, their instinct, and their own sense of what's the right thing to do. And once that pays off and the next guy does it and pays off, it just perpetuates. And a lot of that, I think, has to do with the personality of this guy. And it is a different way of managing the team in some ways than Alex Cora, which has paid off for the Red Sox. I do give him credit.
So we all remember '88 when Joe Morgan was named interim manager, and he would say every day, "I do not know the meaning of the word interim," and he would say that every day.
Yeah.
And so, how long is the interim banner going to hang around Chad Tracy?
Yeah.
Will, will
This,
they
this
will they will they hire him, promote him to full time before this year is over?
I gotta believe yes, but it's weird, Lynchy, because I would have said during the winning streak, the first winning streak, that was a great time to
Yeah.
remove. I would have done it by then. I will tell you that. I think he's earned it. He's deserved. Some people will hold up a hand and go, "Wait a minute, let's watch him manage in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Let's see how he does then before you." But honestly, I don't think the Red Sox are going to play any differently. Cora was great in October. I mean, you wanted Alex Cora for a 7-game World Series. You wanted him managing your ball club because he would outmanage the other guy, every day and twice on Sunday. So is Chad going to be as successful in October? That remains to be seen. All I know is he helped dug the Red Sox out of an amazing hole. They were headed for a 90 to 100 loss season before he showed up. And in the time that he's managed the Red Sox, he has the best record of any manager in the game. I think he's going to be the American League Manager of the Year. How can that guy not be a full-time manager? How can that guy still be an interim manager? I think he's earned it, and I think he deserves it.
Let me ask you about Nesson and the ratings that have come with this. They can't be unhappy with the success. I'm not sure if the Red Sox own Nesson or Nesson owns the Red Sox. I'm not
Yeah.
sure who runs the show here, but Nesson certainly cannot be disappointed with the way this winning streak is. And really, nobody I've ever have heard yet. I'm waiting for Chad Finn to do the Nesson rating story
Yeah.
because it's got to be remarkable.
It's been an incredible spike. I think one of the West Coast games was the second highest streaming game they've ever had. It was on the West Coast. I mean, so in the midst of
Right.
that streak, so that tells you everything you need to know there. I think the Red Sox own 80% of Nesson, as you guys know, but they let Nesson do their own thing. And look, when the Red Sox were a bad ball club for the first almost 3 months, we were pretty hard on them. We said what needed to be said about the play of the team, and I'm not sure everybody loved it all the time. But one thing I've found out, and a lot of it, frankly, is watching you guys when I was watching both of you work and how real you were and how fair but hard on them when you needed to be. I came to believe that's the culture of Boston and broadcasting. And when we're covering our sports teams, if we're blowing smoke, they're not going to believe us when they do get good,
Right.
because it's a snow job. So I never wanted to go there, but also always wanted to be fair, and it can never be personal. It's like someone told me early in my career, criticize the play, not the player.
Yeah.
And that's how you stay right there. And I'm preaching to the choir here, but that's the way I think it's supposed to be done. And I think once the club turned the corner and started this magical season, people did believe us that what's happening is not fiction. It's in front of your eyes, and isn't it wonderful? So
Ticket requests during this 6 week run. Has Dave O'Brien become the most popular man in his family, in his neighborhood,
yep.
and his group of friends?
Yep, I feel like I should be working for StubHub or somebody at this point because, like the other night, I think it was a Friday night, we had, for me, this is a lot of tickets, like 17 tickets,
Wow.
and so I'm trying to find every which way. I'm asking favors, I'm calling in favors, I'm God only knows what I owe now to people, but just to get people in the ballpark on a Friday night, it's a wonderful problem to have. It
Yeah.
really is. You do it with a smile because everybody wants to get in on it and get it. They want. I mean, I'm saying on the air, you got to get down here. You got to see this. This is
Yeah.
never going to happen again in your lifetime.
Right.
And
That is
then,
the most important part. This
yeah,
is never going to happen again. It's like Pompeii.
yeah.
It's never going to happen again in your lifetime.
That's right. And so, you say that and you're preaching that, and then people take you up on it. And they're like, okay, you told me to come on down. You got four, and so it's really been incredible. You show up to the ballpark every night just floating and like, what's going to happen tonight? Like the game Bob was talking, the 13 inning game. Like, what's going to happen now? They're going to win the game. How are they going to win though? How are they going to walk this thing off? And then they do. And it's been the greatest thing I've ever seen
Good.
of a sports team, ever seen.
And you know what? I think Mike and I would agree with that. It's been the greatest. Well, I was talking to Shaughnessy and asking him about what was the biggest sports story of this year. And Mike and I talked about this. Was it the Patriots and their run up last year, which was pretty, let's not forget what that was like.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it was pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
Was it the World Cup? Was it Jalen Brown trade? Or was it this year's Red Sox team?
Mm.
And it was interesting. I thought it was this year's Red Sox team. That was before the hell froze over the last 3 days.
Right. Yeah. And look, to that point, it's not over yet. We still got
Right. The
44
best thing
games.
could happen. The best thing is still possible.
Could still happen. You got 44 regular season games, and let's say they go on another one, and I think they're very capable of going on another long winning streak. I'm not putting anything past this team. What if they win the division? What if you get a chance to avoid the wild card round?
No, and you look
And
ahead and you see you got Pittsburgh. Well, Pittsburgh's down. Pittsburgh's playing like shit. And
yep,
I mean,
yep.
you know what I mean. I don't know
Well,
why did I say that?
they've dipped, and Skeens. We'll see Skeens in Pittsburgh, but he's not having a good year.
No.
And he's dropped velocity. He's got a high ERA for him. So, you figure you got a chance to do damage there. And the schedule this is kind of the scary part. The schedule has gotten a lot less. The Red Sox
Yeah.
beat a lot of good teams
Yeah.
over this incredible run.
Good. This is good information.
Yeah. So, I mean, now the strength of the schedule is not what it was. But, I think of the next six opponents, two are right now playoff eligible. That's all. But one of those is Toronto. And, the Sox are having issues with Toronto. And the Blue Jays have kind of had their number to this point. And all I know is that this is a team that has figured out who they are. They've figured out their identity, figured out how they have to win baseball games. And that means a lot. There are teams that go an entire season, never come close to figuring that out. These guys know who they are. They're one very gritty team. They've got to beat you with some small ball, the occasional home runs. They've got to Bob's point, got to outpitch you. Got to outpitch you every night.
Yep, they do. Hey, let me get this spot in for George Gray. Hey, if you're thinking about a new vehicle, go with Lobel and Lynch. Go, and just think you can actually get a car from George Gray and drive to Toronto, and you can drive to Pittsburgh. Both drivable destinations. Go see our good friend George Gray at George Gray's Lexington Toyota. We have been customers for years because we know that George Gray will treat you right. They're family-owned and operated dealership that we trust, and you can trust as well. Go see the great George Gray, the big wheel we call him, at George Gray's Lexington Toyota, 409 Mass Ave in Lexington. They'll take good care of you the same way that Dave O'Brien has taken good care of Lobie and Lynchy on this show every time he comes on. It was so much fun, Dave. Have we left anything else? I know Lobel got his World Cup thing.
He's going to miss the first inning. Dave's such a good guy. He kept him before the first inning started. So.
By the way, it's just for me, it's really an honor to be on with both of you. You two guys I idolized growing up in this business. I've told you this before, but it's the absolute truth. And it's just a joy to be able to spend a little bit of time with you two guys to talk sports, talk about Red Sox, because when I was a young man watching you guys and wanting to get in this business, I would be like, this is the kind of sportscaster I want to be. I want to be real. I want to connect with the audience. I want people, and I think I've hopefully been able to do that with this great run with the Red Sox. People have taken to the club, but I think they've made watching the Red Sox kind of appointment viewing again. And so I always hear both of your voices in my head, and I think I always will, and I'm very grateful for that. So thank you.
Thank you.
That's really kind. Just make sure when you see Kyle Schwarber or something, don't say, "Why can't we get players like that?"
I've used the line, believe me, we all have.
It's
Yeah.
not a good look. It's not a good look for a Red Sox broadcaster.
No, it's not. No. I love that guy too. Yeah.
And you've made my grandson forget about Mike Lynch and Bob Lobel. All they want to see is Dave O'Brien. I'm going to tell all their friends when they tune in tonight.
Hey, the highlight for me was those two young guys on. They are just gorgeous, and you're the luckiest guy in the world. So
Good job, Obi. Thank you so much.
thanks,
Obi,
Bob.
thanks
Thanks,
so
Lynch.
much.
Appreciate you guys.
Continued success.
He's
you.
the best. Thank you so much, folks. Make sure you follow us on unanchoredboston.com, and we're always on YouTube as well. Thanks, Dave. We'll see everybody.